Hello, folks. We're kicking it off. Day 3 at the Boston Comedy Festival. So let me start up the music and get the band going, and we will launch. Let's start with this. These are overlays. This is things you do not want to do when doing a podcast. You don't want to have this stuff happen. And that's what's happening, brothers and sisters. All right. Now we're going to the banners, and there's nothing there. Private chat, there's nothing there. All right. Oh, here we go. Is it really kind of crazy to do a countdown at this point? That seems crazy. I'm going to do my intro, and then I'm going to come back, and everything's going to be better. You'll see. When George Carlin recommended you for Oprah.
The best thing is at the beginning of it, he said, "Hi, this is George Carlin. First, let me say there's nothing I can do for your career."
I opened for Lionel Richie at the Greek Theater. They say you can't look at Lionel. And I still got show adrenaline going, and I see Lionel, and he walks by. And just out of instinct, comic instinct, I just looked in his direction, and I just said, "Hello." And they said, "No, you can't talk to him. No."
I used to be devastated by a bad set, not really be able to feel good about myself until I had a good set, and in my early days that could be months. So it was just.
The night you're there, I walked around the front and there's a guy scalping tickets, and I hug him. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Lionel can't take it.
Looking forward to that.
You say, could you use someone else's name when doing my please?
Hey, I'm back, and here we are, day 3, and I'm still horrible at podcasting. So the growth, if you're watching this, we could be going the other way. I don't know, but I'm trying to have some fun here. We had a blast last night. We had the Tony V Lifetime Experience thing. And lifetime experience, celebration of life comedy show, and we had wonderful people. Lauren from Lauren and Wally were here, and Brian Bell was here, and I'm gonna bring Tony up here. Tony,
Okay.
Welcome.
How are you?
You missed one of the roughest takeoffs since Apollo 13 with this thing.
What happened? What'd you do?
What I do is I like to start half of this, and then you get like 30 seconds of me looking at the screen to see if it's on, usually with my mouth hanging open and nose hair bristling out around the screen.
I see. Do you tap the hello?
Yeah, it's pretty close to that. I do a confession. I become overtly religious and belligerent at the same time.
Well, at least some good comes out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're getting a little bit more religious. Yeah. I'm trying to set.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it, man. Because if people don't realize, you get a little bit older. You got to, the music's going to end. You want to get that chair in heaven. I don't know if people know that's the way it works.
Yeah,
it's musical chairs.
Right. If you're okay at the end, no matter what happened before.
Right. You start your groveling now.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right. So
that's pretty good.
I was just talking about our wonderful show we did for your Celebration of Life show, which I don't know if anyone else has done that comedically, but I feel like we did a pretty good job.
It was. I'll tell you this. I felt celebrated, and you can't do better than that. You know what I mean? We had a lot of nice people say some lovely things and not so lovely things, which is the way that it goes. But you know what I realized last night?
What's that?
I have a lot of friends named Steve.
Is that from the Greek side of your family, or?
Yeah, I get
Nick and Steve, right?
Now. Yeah. Steve Callisman was there.
He
Steve.
did, by the way,
Bjork,
Steve did a fine job.
he did a nice job. He did
Yeah.
a really nice job. And my longtime friend Steve Bjork, who also did a nice job,
Sure.
and Steve Scarfo.
Yeah.
That was half a day of Steves. That's a lot of Steves.
We were Steve heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
Which leads me to my newest idea for comedy, The Night of 1,000 Steves.
Steves. What a great show that would be.
Everybody gets 2 minutes.
Hey, right.
And can only talk about their name. That'll never get old.
I one time did a show called Only for Tonys. And it was all guys named Anthony or Tony. That was all.
I had an idea. I wanted to do this in New York. I wanted to do a show and book people out of the phone book. Like find Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
But it's not the famous Jerry Seinfeld.
Not Jerry Seinfeld.
And Chris Rock. And the guy at the club goes, they'd murder us and burn the club down. That'd be funny only to you.
It'd be a good joke, man. It'd be funny. Speaking of Steve Bjork, my buddy, he actually wrote a book, and the name of it escapes me, but it was a self-published book, and he was selling them for a while. But he wrote to Stephen King to do the forward or say some nice things about the author or whatever. I guess it's a forward, right?
Right.
I don't know much about books.
Right.
I know they got words and covers. That's all I got. But so he got to a Stephen King, but it wasn't the Stephen King.
Right.
And the guy read the book and wrote him back, said like, look, I think this book is mediocre at best and all of that. And Steve left it as the forward. He put it in, forward by
awesome.
Stephen King, and it was like this less than stellar review. So he's a good man.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of the roast thing is a little can be a little bit tough because there is sometimes you don't want to hear certain things.
That's the thing with comic roasts.
Right.
Some of the language we use in private and things we say are meant for our ears only.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you got to know somebody's heart and the fact that they got a steel trap of a honest mechanism in them, that they're not going to out you for saying something
right
that the general public would want to put you away for.
Right.
You got to know who you're dealing with. And
right.
Then sometimes that comes out and the general public goes, oh, I
wouldn't
think it'd say something like that. But, you live and die by what you say and do. That's all.
Well, it used to be like it was just among the comedians. It's like the Friars Club thing. There were only comedians in the room.
Well, right. And I tell people this all the time, too. When roasts became popular, whenever they did, and I guess they've been doing them for a long time, it was by the peers of somebody who was pretty successful. There weren't this
right.
many comedians. So they would take somebody who's at the top of their game and take them down a couple of pegs, knowing that they had nothing to lose.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nothing that was said was taken seriously. There was no ego involved. They all knew what they were doing. And then as it started spreading to, hey, let's roast the president of the company. No, let's not roast the president of the company. He's not going to be happy.
He's going to slowly weed out your jobs over the next 6 weeks.
Right. He's going to find out whose idea it was and fire that guy, whoever hired that guy. That's what's going to happen.
You need to start as an adult. You maybe need to just take a moment and make 2 lists. People you can be honest with and people you cannot be honest with.
Yes. Yeah.
And the honest list is usually much shorter.
Yeah. You know, my wife just popped in, Kristen Johnson, and reminded me of, you know, I had a neighbor who, for her husband's birthday, wanted to have a roast of the guy, you know, and he was a very earnest businessman. To my way of thinking, he had no sense of humor. But I go, yeah, okay, okay, fine. And it was the gentlest of roasts, but people would come up and then I would make fun of them in between, like a regular roast, but, you know, nothing scathing or anything like that. But basically, the temperament of it became like, this guy's is a tool, and without his wife, no one would talk to him. That's what it came out to be. And it wasn't directly as a result of that, but it started them in a spiral, and they eventually got divorced.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So pick your roasts sparingly.
Carefully. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
as they say. Yeah, and even as we come up to Easter, pick your roasts carefully.
Well, everybody last night was awesome. Artie did a nice job up front.
Yeah, Artie Januario hosted it. Lenny Clarke stopped by. The aforementioned hat trick of Steve's were there. You know,
And then also, very cool thing was that some of your friends sent in little video vignettes.
Oh yeah, that was really nice. I some I knew and some I didn't know. Like I didn't know Gary Gulman had sent a thing, which was very touching.
Yeah.
And Bill Burr sent a video, and then Bobcat Goldthwait and my son did a showstopper. It was.
Yeah, that was funny.
I mean, like I laughed out loud.
You know, we couldn't have planned that better.
Yes, and I give you credit for ending with that one. And then I thought one of the highlights or the funniest parts of the evening was that Lauren and Wally from the old Lauren and Wally show on WROR, very popular show for 30 years, you know, they sent the video. But Lauren was actually at the event.
Right.
And went up and spoke anyway. I thought that was very cool.
You know, I didn't realize. I knew you were on the Lauren and Wally show a lot. I didn't realize you were really in. You're almost part of the team there. You were
the fifth. I was like the fifth guy. Whenever you know, it came down to, you know, almost every Friday, and then if one of them was out, I would jump in and sidekick. So I was really invested in that show. And I liked those guys a lot. It was like one of the last of the really just out and out, you know, old timey, knock at the door, ring a bell, here comes a gag radio show, morning show.
Right.
And I loved them. And they were great. They were the consummate professionals.
Sure.
Terrific.
Yeah,
Tom Doyle used to do the Townie tunes, and it was just fun. And the thing I liked about it is they didn't expect me to come in and you know, just do my act. I just became, you know, whatever story they were talking about, or I'd you know, make up some foolishness, and it went along. And
you know, they had
great.
They had like something you could hang your hat on. You know, like if they could do the Townie thing, you know, you could jump in where you can,
right,
and add, you know,
because I was there so much, and I knew the whole situation. So,
you know, we don't do it. Yeah. It's funny because now, you know, when you go do a radio show, a lot of times it used to be they want comedians on because it would help make the show funnier. So they're like, yeah, come on in. But now, you know, you call, you're in a town, you're like, you know, can I do some radio and promote the show I'm going to do? And then you get a call back from the sales manager.
Yes.
And now, beyond that, even if you do get in, they really don't know. Most of them don't know how to like talk to comedians.
They don't know how to do it. Well, because it's all corporate now. And
but what happens? It's also the screens, Tony, because they got the screens up. So they go, they put your bio on and they read it back to you while putting their next song on. They're like, Tim, you're 6'6". Is that right? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah,
And then they're thinking, wow, he's not very funny.
he's not.
It's like,
A, it's 6:30 in the morning, and you've given me nothing to
right,
work with. Nothing.
right. You're hurting me. You're with your,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah. It's not easy being us, Jim. That's what
it
the
kind
general
of,
public
you know,
doesn't realize.
someone was trying to be empathetic with me today. And I said, listen, you got to understand, I dug this hole for myself. I do it every year. You know,
Right.
no one,
Right. Well,
this was all my idea.
yeah. No,
And I do have
forced
fun.
us to
The
do
most
this,
fun I have is
right?
hanging out.
Oh, of course. That's the best part of it. The hang
know?
is the best. I think Burr said that in his video.
Yeah,
You
I used to love going to
shit-
Dominic's or wherever after everybody got off.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. You
you
know,
know.
the show's one thing and how it goes, but the hang is what we all care about. You know,
Right.
And you
I was
don't
just
want
listening to
anyone
Joe
upset.
Rogan last night on the way home. He's talking to Kevin James about community and how it makes everybody funnier. Like just hanging out in the club and talking afterwards.
yeah.
You pick up a bit. You know, like we were smoking cigars, and I came up with that hair follicle thing.
Right.
You know, and that was just because we were
Right,
just
you actually
making
said
you and I
that,
were
right.
just standing there making each other laugh.
Right.
And the next day I
And
find
not
myself on
forced.
stage and I'm like, it comes
Right.
out of my mouth. And it's like, wow,
Right.
yeah, all right.
And that works. It was funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking to another comedian. Your conversation is not generally, hey, did you ever notice the difference between dogs and cats? Why
Right,
no,
you know,
Jim?
I have not. Tell us about it, won't you?
Why won't you tell us some more about that premise?
But yeah, you want people illegally showcasing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, here's a good one, blah, blah, blah. But if you're just having a natural conversation, and there's a few people in your life that happens with. You and I happen to be a pair that does that all the time. I remember one ride to New Jersey where, you know, we could have taped an hour special just driving down.
Oh, that was fun.
You know, yeah, just from what was coming off the top of our heads. Artie Januario is the same way.
Yeah.
I laugh more on the phone with him than almost anybody else. And Bobcat Goldthwait. I mean, there's not a time that we don't speak that, you know.
I just think that if you're talking to somebody else that kind of knows the shorthand, the collaboration is a multiplier, a force multiplier.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like,
and you know the way the guy thinks. You know what I mean? You know it's gonna flip that switch in his head. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it's all very good. How's the rest of the festival going? Seems like it's going.
It's going. You know, we're a freight train now. It's like we got 2 more prelims tonight, and
then one more tomorrow night.
No, then we go into semifinals.
Oh, so there'll be 18 total.
Yeah. So
and then how many?
We get down to 8, unless there's a tie, and then sometimes there's 9.
Right.
But generally, it's 8 people that go to the Berkeley Performance Center, and
then you got Lenny Clarke coming in. Kevin.
Lenny's on tonight, and then tomorrow is Kevin Nealon.
Yeah.
And then D.L. Hughley, who I called J.L. Hughley yesterday, and that's another one where I went. You know, we really couldn't afford D.L. We couldn't afford D.L. Hughley.
We got J.L.
J.L. Hughley's a really nice guy.
It's like what's his name? The Gallagher brother.
Technically, it's not a fraudulent show because we did say in very tiny letters. You put a magnifying glass up, you can see it actually says J.L. Hughley.
Just Hughley's in big letters.
Big letters.
And then the L slightly smaller, and then the J is like a micro dot.
Just if you can magnify it, it's there. You know.
You really gotta get.
And the guy goes, I don't even know why. It's a stage. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm terrified of public speaking. Keep going. Stretch. Get to 45. Keep going.
We got to give the people what we promised them. And you're J.L. Hughley, so get up there, kid. It's your time to shine.
Wow.
And then Friday night is this.
Friday's the All-Star show. Yeah.
We got show. Yeah.
Yep. We got
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we got Kate Sisk, who's a wonderful comedian, and she was a finalist. And we have Drew Dunn, who's very funny. He just finished
He's really funny.
a national tour, I think, with Dane Cook, I want to say.
Yeah.
And Aaron McGuire. If you haven't seen Aaron McGuire, I'm a huge fan of Aaron McGuire. Tony, she is so funny on and off stage, everywhere. Like she's real. She's got she's got the whole toolbox, man. And she's a writer. And every time I see her, she's coming out on stage with a new arrows out of the quiver. You know, so she's someone to watch.
Right.
And
that's great.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. And we have last year's winner, who I still can't pronounce his name. Can you find last name? Yeah. It's Jonasi, and what's his? He's from Zimbabwe originally, and really funny, really great guy.
Coming all the way over from Zimbabwe.
No, and you know what's funny is after the after party.
Go there?
Yeah, we go over there and scout.
Jonasi.
Jonas, it's Learn More Jonasi. Learn More Jonasi. I'm sorry, Learn More.
Yeah,
I apologize.
I'm looking at it. We're in the same article.
Yep.
It's Learn More Jonasi. Yes. That's
so
a good name.
After the finals, we're gonna have a party for the comedians after at an undisclosed area, but and I'll send you an email on that. But last year's party, was near the Emerson Majestic.
There's a dumpster.
Yeah, we'll have one.
There's a dumpster I can smoke by. Yeah.
Well, it's walking distance, and it's yeah. So anyway, Learn More, who could be one of the nicest fellows you're ever going to meet, and very funny. It meets up with Jim McHugh, who's an hour after the festival drinking Jim McHugh, and he goes,
"Oh boy!"
I go. So it's what a story that you've come all this way to win the Boston Comedy Festival. And he says, "Well, I actually live, and I'm not going to do his accent. I'm not going to try to do that. But he says, actually, I live in Philly." And I was like, "What? If I knew you were from Philly, we never would have booked you here."
You.
I'm joking, obviously, but he's like, "What?" I go, "Oh no, Boston and Philly, we don't do that. That's not a thing we do."
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Keep that as a wraps. Let's never talk about that again.
Yeah, it's always something. So yeah, it's all So look, my hat's off to you, and I thank you for doing what you did for me. It was great.
Oh,
it was a lot of fun.
No one had more fun than me last night. I'm not. Your following they all came on their own and sat as close to the front as they could without being told.
Yeah.
They all were there to support you, and they're all happy to be there, and they all, not just fans of Tony V, but they're friends of Tony V.
They were friends of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were rooting for you.
About a dozen people from my neighborhood, like my next door neighbor came.
Yeah.
And people across the street I saw just today who were there, and we saw it in the paper, blah blah blah, and guy from one street over and a couple of houses down. It was very touching. It was great to see everybody.
Yeah,
and the parents of my kids went to school with, and Gus is 26 now, so that was years ago. But they still remember and they keep in touch, and it's all fine. It's all good. Yeah. Yep. That's all.
We got somebody sent in a chat for our friends from Carnival Personnel Podcast. Dean Martin may roast mainstream with his Celebrity Roast TV show, 1974 to 1984.
Dean Martin.
That's when that came out.
Yeah, there was a whole roast show. Yeah,
I think the roast show, though. I think the roast show. I think those people were trapped in there. I think they took this thing that was awesome at the Friars Club, and then they brought it to a TV studio instead of tables.
Yeah.
And maybe people drink water for 6 hours. All right, Sammy. Listen. We need to get that laugh again. We got. Can you give us cut, Sammy? Can you laugh again? No, man. You didn't pay me enough.
No. No.
Can you imagine?
Can
Can you imagine them trying to capture a live roast like with TV execs?
Oh my God! You know, when they started doing them on Comedy Central, they did one of Chevy Chase,
Yeah.
and it was obvious that everyone roasted him had no connection to Chevy Chase.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just got comedians from the wherever.
Yeah, they're looking for a TV
all
credit.
very, yeah, and all very capable and stuff like that. And,
Right.
and Chevy Chase did one of the probably only funny things he's ever done in his life, which it was obvious that they were cutting together two shows.
Right.
And in one show he had sunglasses on, and another show he did not. So once in a while they'd cut to him, he'd be wearing sunglasses. Then they'd cut back, he wouldn't have them on. Then there'd be one joke, they'd cut back, no sunglasses. And I go, oh, that's pretty good. You know.
You and Bobcat actually tortured some person out of show business, didn't you? The Big Show or something? What was the name of that show?
Bobcat's Big Ass Show.
Bobcat's Big Ass Show.
Yeah.
Dude, I love you.
A lot of people.
I love you, but if I win the lottery, I'm doing a movie. I do not want both of you on the same set. I did not. That's not going to happen.
That was pretty. It was, and here's the thing: we were in charge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dangerous.
Like we had an executive producer and a showrunner, and
Right.
then it was us. You know, so we would go, okay, we're gonna go right, and then we'd go get lunch, take a nap, come back. You know, did you guys figure out the opening? Yeah, all set. And then we'd just be us, and it oddly worked. You know, I've known the guy literally since the day he started doing comedy in Boston, and
right.
we've been friends ever since. So
right.
It's all pretty good. Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
So, well, thanks for having me on your podcast here.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Thanks for honoring me and being part of the.
All right, so I gotta tell everyone watching.
Nice.
Go to BostonComedyFest.com. This guy is going to be honored, and I just talked to the trophy guy today, so you're gonna get a trophy.
Is a trophy involved?
Well, it's a plaque.
Wow. Okay, plaque.
Would you prefer like a football helmet or something, or
something like that? A bobblehead. What about a bobblehead? That'd be good.
I don't know. You got to go to a bigger festival to get a bobblehead.
All right.
We don't have bobblehead money. We don't have bobblehead money.
Yeah.
Dean DiMarzio, my brother-in-law, says, I married my wife because Tony V told me she was a nice person.
That's Helen's husband?
That's Helen's husband.
Yeah, I told him if he didn't marry her, he was an idiot.
Yeah, he's not. You know what?
His sister is so nice.
What was that character that Jim Norton did? That crazy character. We booked his character at the Somerville Theater, and it was like a podcast, crazy character, sold out in like 10 minutes.
Right.
And so Jim's late, and the whole thing's kind of nuts. And he gets there, and they're chanting for him. His character. Right.
Right.
And I called. This is how I met Dean. And then so I call down to Helen, who's down at the Rockwell Theater. I say, listen, send all the volunteers you got. Because Jim came in and he said, do you have any security? I go, Jim, I'm the security. There's no security. He goes, you should have security here. I go, you should tell a guy that. So I called down and Helen goes, all I got is my boyfriend. So she sends Dean down, and Dean is the same size as Liam. He's like 6'6", big.
He's
big
gigantic.
Guy.
Yes,
he's big. He's a big man.
Yes.
So
very important.
And this is when I knew he was the right guy for Helen, because I say, okay, they're all chanting and they're getting a little crazy. I go, Dean, upstairs is 500 people. Downstairs is 400 people. You're 150 pounds heavier than me, so you take the 500 people. And I said, I'll take the people downstairs. He goes, what if there's trouble? I said, I said to him, throw someone off the balcony and I'll come running. And he says, okay. I went, this guy's all right.
That's what you want. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. That's what I knew. He's all right.
Yeah.
If hard times
He's a
come,
good man.
Dean's your man.
Yeah.
He's going to be there.
Dean's the guy you want for backup.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. Yep.
All right. So listen, I've
All
already
right.
had you on too
So,
long, but
yeah,
I can do this all
I'll
night.
get my trophy Saturday night.
Yes.
Yeah, I can talk to you, and we have. And then we'll have a cigar next couple of nights, and on Saturday, and everything will be good.
I'm all for that, man. I'm all for that. Thank you, Tony.
All
All right.
right. You're on. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to sign off, folks. We love Tony V. We also, on that show, we have Michael Gross, who's going to be on that show, and he's awesome. He was on Family Ties, and he was on the movie Tremors. And I can't wait to meet. I've talked to him on the phone. Super nice guy and funny. And he's getting a Lifetime Award for his work in the sitcom and movies and acting. And Tony's getting, and actually, we probably could give Tony one for acting as well, but we're giving him one for stand-up comedy. And then also we have Adam Ferrara. Google Adam Ferrara. If you don't know Adam Ferrara, he's unbelievably talented and funny. And he's going to be our Comedian of the Year. I'm so excited about this because I'm an Adam Ferrara fan. I can't tell you that I've ever seen him on a show or anywhere where he wasn't like awesome. And he's from that like Long Island crew of people that, I feel like it's almost like a sister city or a brotherhood city because it's, they have a lot of just great, amazing acts that come out of there. And they have that a little bit of a working class thing that like Boston has, where they really hone their comedy. They got to know how to work both sides of the fence. They got to be smart, but they also got to be they can't be wilting lilies up there on the stage. You know what I'm saying? So I'm Jim McHugh. Every day I don't get better at this, but I come back and I try again. And I thank anyone who comes back and looks at me and listens to what's going on at the Boston Comedy Festival. I'm going to try to keep this going. And I'm sorry, I don't think I got you on Instagram. If I did, ping me and let me know because I don't know where this is going. But I do thank you for watching. I got to go upstairs because we got two shows. The prelims, it'll be prelims 5 and 6 today at the City Winery Boston. There are tickets for prelim 6, and that's going to be awesome. And then on the other side, we got the one and only Lenny Clarke is here tonight, and I'm not sure how many tickets are here. I know there's some. So it might be the kind of deal where you can walk in. And the City Winery is an awesome place. It's like not like, go in the basement and your feet stick to the floor kind of comedy club. It's beautiful. The food's good. Get a bottle of wine. You can have a fun night with somebody you care about, and you get credit for taking them on a date, not bringing them into a cellar where they're, it's going to be horrible. All right. So I'm Jim McHugh. I'm signing off, and I thank you very much.